silence of deep space. What does it tell us? Every time we look up at the sky, do we find ourselves on a lonely planet? Or are we being watched from that infinite void? Tonight, I'll take you to a dark night shrouded in mystery, to an extraordinary story that has been debated for decades. In 1961, an ordinary road trip turned into one of the most famous encounters with the unknown. This is the story of Betty and Barney Hill, an incident that became the first widely reported case of alien abduction. But is this just a story or one of humanity's greatest mysteries? Let's uncover it together. It all began on the night of September 19, 1961. Betty and Barney Hill were driving back to their home in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, after a short vacation in Montreal, Canada. The night was quiet, the roads empty, but something would soon turn this ordinary night into one of history's most puzzling enigmas. Betty looked up at the night sky and noticed what she first thought was just a star. But this star was moving differently. It darted across the sky, zigzagging in a way no ordinary aircraft could. At first, Barney dismissed it, thinking it might be an airplane. But the light grew closer and closer, moving erratically, almost like it was following them. Betty grew uneasy. Barney tried to stay rational, but fear was beginning to creep in. They pulled over to the side of the road to get a closer look. Barney grabbed his binoculars and peered into the night sky, and that's when he saw it, a shape hovering in the air, silent and motionless. A metallic, disc-like object with pulsating lights on its underside. And it wasn't just hovering, it was coming closer. Barney told Betty to get back in the car. His fear was mounting. He started the car and sped off, hoping to escape whatever was following them. But no matter how fast they went, the light stayed right above them. It was tracking them, watching them. Finally, the light descended in front of them, blocking the road. It was so close now that Barney got out of the car once more, his binoculars in hand. And that's when he saw them figures standing at the windows of the craft. Human-like, but not human. They had large heads and enormous black eyes. Barney froze in terror. His body felt paralyzed as he stared back at those eyes. Panicked, he ran back to the car, started it, and yelled to Betty, "They're coming for us!" They sped off, but just then, everything went black. Betty and Barney suddenly found themselves in a void, a place beyond time and space. They could hear strange, low-frequency humming sounds, sounds that felt like they came from another world. They were in the car, but the world around them seemed to dissolve. And that was the last thing they remembered. For now, hours later, they found themselves much closer to home, continuing their journey as if nothing had happened. But something was wrong, terribly wrong. Checking their watches, they discovered that 2 hours were missing, 2 hours they couldn't account for. Those 2 missing hours would haunt them for the rest of their lives. After the incident, Betty began having vivid, unsettling dreams. In these dreams, she remembered being taken aboard a strange craft, where both she and Barney underwent medical examinations by alien beings. She described these beings as gray-skinned, with large, almond-shaped eyes. They didn't speak, but she could somehow hear their thoughts. They communicated telepathically, explaining that they came from another star system and were studying humans. She recalled them showing her a star map, indicating where they were from. The couple decided to seek help and underwent hypnosis therapy. Under hypnosis, both Betty and Barney began to recall what happened during those missing hours. Barney remembered seeing those creatures looking out of the craft's windows and feeling completely helpless. Betty described the star map in detail, a map that pointed to the Zeta Reticuli star system. When Betty's star map was analyzed years later, astronomers discovered something shocking. The map she had drawn under hypnosis matched the layout of stars in the Zeta Reticuli system, a configuration that wasn't even known to science in the early 1960s. This revelation sent shockwaves through the world. Was it possible that Betty and Barney Hill had truly been abducted by extraterrestrial beings? Or was their story a product of stress, sleep deprivation, and human imagination? Scientists and skeptics have proposed countless theories, yet none can definitively explain the strange details of that night. Perhaps this incident sheds light on one of the greatest mysteries of our existence, and perhaps the visitors Betty and Barney encountered that night will one day return. The Hill couple never wavered in their account of what happened to them. They insisted until their final days that what they experienced was real. But the question remains, what truly happened that night? No one can say for sure. All we know is that their lives were forever changed. Maybe we are not alone. So what do you believe?